Yes, folks, here we go. We're back. It's another post-match pint after Copenhagen 1, Celtic 1 over in Denmark. There's just a roar for down the stair. I feel like that
maybe Braga have took the lead.
Be 1-0 to Braga,
maybe.
Who knows. Ryan's with me. We're here on the roof at Malone's Bar. Watched the game in here as well. Brilliant. What an atmosphere. Sardines down the stair, but great atmosphere.
Aye, absolutely packed in like sardines in a tin. It was one of the ones where you 5 deep at the bar before we started.
Aye.
And then the full 90 minutes, absolutely stowed. Boys pushing by you with beers going everywhere. Class. What an atmosphere. Absolutely buzzing.
Listen, love to see it. Before the game tonight, Ryan, would you have took 1-1?
All day long, absolutely all day long, and it goes to show just how well we performed in that first half tonight to say it wouldn't be unjust for us to walk away with 2 or 3 goals in that game.
Aye, I think it's the worst footballing cliche ever, but a game of 2 halves tonight.
Aye,
I thought
massively.
In the first half we were very good. Obviously Edward has 2 early chances, the first one's after about
45 seconds.
50 seconds. Should have scored, but it comes at that early in the game that he just didn't quite. It looked like he nearly lost his balance before it. Keeper makes a decent save, he gets a rebound and it ricochets, and then he gets the other chance which he's stretching again for. But we finished the first half, no shots on target for Copenhagen, 5 for us. Okay, I don't know what the possession was like. I know at one point in the first half they had 60, we had 40, but we were looking dangerous on the counter attack, a lot of space in behind. And we took the lead through Edward, but at that stage in the game you're thinking we could kill this tie tonight.
Aye.
If this keeps up we could kill this tie tonight, but the game totally changed after half time.
Aye, and I said to you, so the first, like, there was 2 or 3 shots, Edward's 2 in the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and at that stage the pace that we were setting was blistering. We were the high press we had on, we were pushing men forward, we were cutting the ball out, we just looked like we were causing Copenhagen all sorts of havoc.
Aye.
And they just couldn't live with us in the first half. They genuinely couldn't live with us. But I said to you, my words were, you just can't keep that pace up for 90 minutes, and the second half proved that. But to see Eddie, that first shot that he had in the first 50 seconds, like you say, the first shot he had was one that 20 minutes into the game he's burying. The second shot he had, he was just going, he just
Stretching,
and the goalkeeper stretched and the goalkeeper got his feet to it. So in that case he wasn't going to get the second one but for a stroke of luck. But when he took his third one on the weaker foot, sublime. The big man knows exactly what he's doing.
Beautiful.
And just the awareness of Callum McGregor just to turn it loose to him at the right time. And then Eddie in that space is always putting that ball in the back of the net. I think just when he watched it going in, he was like, is it? Aye, it's in. And it was away.
Right in the corner.
Aye.
Right in the corner, just inside of the post. An absolutely beautiful finish. Christie gets over the right hand side, works it well into McGregor, and as you say, McGregor, calm, knows the situation round about him, takes a touch, rolls Edward in, and the finish is just absolutely sublime. He might have missed 2, but he never panics. He never panics. Doesn't matter what the situation is. He never panics. And on your weaker foot, technically weaker foot, away from home in Europe, to just sit the keeper down and dink it over him straight into the corner.
As that not.
Absolutely beautiful finish. And then, as you say, dominating the first half.
Yep.
But in the second half, Copenhagen came out. The first 90 seconds, 2 minutes, bits of pressure, corner, and then Olivier Cham, who, why does it just takes an unnecessary risk?
Overconfident.
There's absolutely no need for that at that stage in the game where Copenhagen have come out aggressive, more applying a lot more pressure than they were in the first half, like a wounded animal, if you like. And he's got McGregor on, he's got Scott Brown on, he might even have Hayes or Forrest out on the left hand side, and he tries to turn on the edge of the box and it costs us a goal.
It does cost a goal, and it is overconfidence. When Cham takes the ball in and the centre circle, he turns that all day long, and he sometimes loses it, but 9 times out of 10 he's so comfortable with a man tight on his shoulder and he'll turn him inside out. But he tried it in the wrong position, it didn't pay off, and it was a big mistake at that point in the game where they were starting to apply a bit of pressure, and at that point the goal going for them, in my mind I'm thinking that's the game now, a case of let's keep it and try and steal one, and that was the way it kind of transpired through the next 45.
Goals change football matches. We see it all the time. And right after half time, when they come out with that extra energy, that extra impetus for them to get the goal, from a cheap piece of play for us, was poor, and it did set the tone for the second half. Because I say, game of two halves, they dominated it in the second half. We did still have a couple of chances that will come on.
McGregor.
We had a couple of chances that will come onto, but they did dominate. Those chances, Callum McGregor, who, as we say, for the first goal, calm, composure, can see the pictures round about him, takes the touch, rolls in Edouard, brilliant pass, breaking forward in the second half. One of the rare good breaks that we had in the second half, and he's got Edouard to his right. I think it's Forrester Christie, Edouard to his left, Forrester Christie to his right, and the pass is on to Edouard for 10-15 seconds. And he doesn't pass it, and he doesn't pass it, and then he takes a really, really poor shot. And those situations are where you usually can rely on Callum McGregor to pick the right pass. We've seen it in the first half. You just need him to make the right decision, because if he rolls in Edouard there, it's 2-1. It's not like the chances Edouard missed in the first half. He'll be able to open his body across the whole goal. He's one-on-one with the keeper. He can open his body up on his right hand side. He can take it with his left, as we've seen with the goal that he did score. He's got to pass it.
He has to pass it. At that point in the game where you've just lost a goal, it's one each, you're away from home in Europe, the blood went to his head. It did. I don't know why he took the shot on, but he did take the shot on. It was a blunder. I don't know what the shot, if it left his boot, it was only going high. Edouard was in bags of space in the left. Bags of space. Him a calm head, threads that ball in. Edouard with that sort of space is never missing. 2-1 changes the rest of that game.
As we've seen,
because it was bang against the run of play. Bang against the run of play. They'd come out with a bit of intensity and a press in the second half. We didn't have anything. That goal there probably kills the tie. Because it breaks their hearts, and then we go and we just start to move forward
and we can
again.
take some momentum back again. To go back to the first half though, I thought there was some outstanding performances the whole night, some really outstanding ones in the first half. I thought Christopher Jullien tonight again solid on a European stage was absolutely immense. He headed everything away. Every single ball that came into the box, his head was on it. I don't remember Copenhagen winning a header, and it spells in that second half they did have a lot of corners, a lot of crosses into the box. Jullien was there time and time again. He's a great ball out in the first half as well.
It was his ball that
started the move for the goal. He was superb. I thought Forrest in the first half particularly was very good. His control, some of his control for the long diagonals, absolutely superb. Johnny Hayes as well. I know there'll be plenty of comments bigging up Johnny Hayes. You got what you always get for Johnny Hayes, and plenty of endeavour, plenty of running. He had that one towards the end of the first half where he tracks the boy back, absolutely bursting a gut, gets a foot in, wins a foul. I thought phenomenal. He was good, and like in the realms of what you can expect for Johnny Hayes, he was good.
Technically very poor, but amazing. Just the energy you get, the intensity, the effort, the graft, and that's what you come to expect. But coming back to Christopher Jullien, what an acquisition that boy is. £7 million, absolutely well spent.
Money well spent.
Because when you look at some of the players in the Celtic team who have had a really, really good season so far, Barney's injury, Ryan Christie's done really well. In the big games, he does not bring his best football. But when you look at somebody like Christopher Jullien, he plays all of his best football in the big games.
Absolutely.
All of his best football. And when you look at players like your Edouard and I think McGregor, really, really good again tonight, apart from that mistake, really good, solid. You get some players that really stand up, and Jullien is so impressive when it comes to the big games. So impressive.
And he took a smash to the face 10 minutes in as well. Plays the rest of the game with a cotton bud up his nose. Absolutely brilliant from him.
Warrior.
The other chance we did have in the second half, despite Copenhagen's pressure, was again down the left hand side. Johnny Hayes was involved. He did put a good ball into a good area. Edouard on the stretch again, but it was a brilliant save by the keeper.
What a save that boy did really well tonight. What's his name?
A great save.
Johnson,
I think.
So a cracking save.
Sticks his leg out.
But again, he's just one of the keepers that stay big, and he's confident staying big, and he's just throwing his body as wide as he possibly can, spreading, covering as much area as he can. And what a save, because that was goal bound all the way.
You see David De Gea make saves like that a lot with his feet. It's just reactions. It's just instinct to keep the ball. It was a great save. He actually had one for Forrest as well. Forrest did a break up towards maybe the last 10-15 minutes of the game for us to break up. Could have maybe went inside to look for Edwards. A lot of bodies though.
Yeah.
It was only him and Edward up there. He went on the outside.
Tried to get in the near post.
Good save again. Made himself big. So that boy had a couple of good saves. Defensively in the second half, we lost VAR. First time Celtic have VAR. You just knew that
penalty.
we would get a decision against us, but no arguments because it's as a penalty. Christie goes up. He shuts his eyes when he's challenging the boy, but his hands up here. He might be trying to pull it away, but if your hands up there, you don't have any defence.
And when they go to the goalkeeper, when the referee goes to the halfway line to check it on the screen himself, you're thinking, well, there's a bit of kind of uncertainty in whether it is. He goes and looks, and no uncertain terms he comes back and gives Christie the yellow card, and it's a penalty. And at that point you're thinking to yourself, the big man, if anybody you want the goals for a penalty, it's big Fraser Forster, right? And they step up to take the penalty, everybody's heart's in their mouth, and I kid you not, it was probably a bigger celebration when the big man saved it and put it on the post than when we scored the goal. Phenomenal. That big man is worth, again, I would love to break the bank and bring him to Celtic for next season. I would love to. Whether or not it'll happen,
hopefully.
But amazing.
Hopefully. He's just such a big frame. See, when you're taking a penalty, the goals get smaller. And with Fraser Forster in there, you must feel like, where am I going to put this? Where can I put this? He's got a brilliant penalty saving record, absolutely brilliant record with penalties, particularly at Celtic. And you always know you've got a chance of saving it. Always when Forster's in there. Brilliant for him. We did weather Storm in the second half. Do you think coming back to Celtic Park though, thinking about the amount of chances we created tonight, that game is there for us if we go with the same performance level of the first half and take our chances at Celtic Park? The tie's there for us. The tie is absolutely there for us. In the second half, it just looked like almost we kind of gassed the wee bit in the first half. They came out with a plan in the second half, and we just had to do what we could with their plan in the second half. You've just got to hope that at home we can take the crowd behind them and really start to push on that performance into the second half. If we come out in the first half and set that pace at Celtic Park, I've no doubt that we can put a couple of goals away, and then we need to come out and continue that in the second half. I've no doubts that if we can do that level of performance for the first half, that we can see Copenhagen off and see ourselves into the last 16. Just the last thing though, thinking ahead to next week, Christie get booked for that handball. I thought it was a bit harsh, particularly because he misses next week now. Van Christie will be suspended next week for the second leg. Handball, but it's not booking, is it? I don't know if that's the rule. I don't know enough about the rules. I know that the rule is if it's a deliberate handball, like on the way to a goal or blocking a pass towards the goal, then it's a yellow card. And I know technically the ball's going in the direction of the goal, but it's not a deliberate handball. It's not a yellow card, I don't think, and it's harsh because he misses next week. It's harsh because he misses next week. However, the promising thing is that, well, maybe not with the captain out right enough, maybe if the captain's out, that's another blow for his back. That is another blow. So when if Christie's out next week and El Yunusi's fit enough to come back in and play the 90, then that kind of solves that. Jamesy can come back over to the right where he's most comfortable, Cham in the middle in the 10. So it might not be kind of as bad as what it seems, but if Bruni's out, then we're looking at rejigging things in the middle, which maybe then leads to needing a Ryan Christie to try and fill in one of the spots in the wide areas. So that might be a blow, but I would hope that Bruni's just get a wee niggle and he'll run it off. How many years you watch Celtic away from home in Europe get beat? Plenty of them. And this season, bar Cluj, where we won the group and we rotated the team, bar that game, which doesn't count because it's basically a friendly, we haven't even beaten away from home Europe this season. That's impressive. Phenomenal. That's impressive. It's one of them where so many years you spend singing "This is the day that we'll win away," for it never to come, or very rarely to come. It does come, but this year has been one of the ones where it looks like we could win at any ground away. And today we definitely looked in the first half like we could have won that game, and that is so promising and it's so nice. But when you don't win it, don't lose it, and that's what we did. And your guys like Julian are vital when it comes to that. Julian, Fraser Forster, without the two of the night, who knows what that would have been. And that's when you look at what we've changed in the team this season, right? We've made a few signings over the last 18 months, and most of them don't even make the squad. So when you look at players that were brought in the summer there, Julian and Forster are by far the most pivotal signings that we've made for the performances we've put in this season and how far we're getting in Europe. Absolutely, it is all to play for at Celtic Park next Thursday night. That's sure to be a brilliant atmosphere. As we've seen tonight, there's plenty there for us in the tie to go and win it if we can create that number of chances that we did in the first half. At Celtic Park next week, I fully expect us to go through into the last 16. That's it for the post-match pint tonight. Like the video, comment with your own thoughts below. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on Saturday for the build-up to Kilmarnock. Cheers.